This is a 7 News on Your Side special. 2022 Sports in Review.
Hello, everyone, and thank you so much for joining us as we take a look back at the year in sports. Over the next half hour, Scott Abraham and I will take a look back at some of the major sports stories from around the DMV in 2022. Of course, the Washington Commanders have been a saga all to themselves. The legend of Taylor Heinicke and the incredible comeback of Brian Robinson Jr. have been the on-the-field headliners. But we all know the stories off the field pale in comparison to the drama off of it. John C. Maxwell said it best: change is inevitable, growth is optional. In the case for the Washington Commanders, change was and continues to be inevitable.
Today's a big day for our team, our fans, a day in which we embark on a new chapter as the Washington Commanders.
On 2/2/22, the franchise solidifying their identity as the Washington Commanders and hoping it would reshape a franchise in need of a fresh start.
For the young guys on this football team, it's an opportunity to create a new legacy. It's exciting to see what we accomplished, but I'm even more excited now about what I believe this franchise can do going forward.
And now's an opportunity, I think, to establish that we're starting a new chapter. We're turning the page. We're going to go forward. Hopefully, we can move on from some of the things and situations we've dealt with.
Now, if you know this franchise, you know a name change, as big as it is, wouldn't be the biggest news of the year. That big news came on November 2nd, when the Snyders hired Bank of America Securities to look into potential transactions.
This is not something that is imminent, that is going to happen in the next week or 2 weeks or month or that kind of thing. These things typically take 4, 6, 12 months to work their way through.
We may not have a definite answer to what it all means, but rumors of high-profile celebrities and business owners interested in buying the team trending on social media platforms within hours of the Snyders announcement.
Yes, I've heard that buzz.
I do like football. I'm just going to throw that out there for everyone.
Jeff Bezos, Jay-Z, Matthew McConaughey, and Kevin Durant were among the many names circulating around the purchase of the Washington Commanders.
We don't, in this locker room, really have a lot to do with what's going on outside the building. And I think, honestly, that we've done a good job as a team kind of just sticking together inside this locker room.
Regardless, who's selling the team, regardless who owns the team, you guys, the players, the coaches, the fans, they all expect to win. And that's all that matters.
New ownership may be exactly what this franchise needs: a fresh start to go along with the fresh name.
This team has been it's basically been under investigations and news reports for years now, one after the other after the other. It gets very fatiguing for everyone involved, including fans.
Change is inevitable, and with new ownership on the horizon in our nation's capital, fans can only hope growth isn't an option, but a certainty. So there are a ton of questions surrounding this franchise that we may not have answers to for a long time. Hopefully, for everyone's sake, we get some clarity sooner rather than later. Scott?
There's an exciting buzz with the Washington Wizards. You got some good pieces in Kristaps Porzingis and Kyle Kuzma. Then you have some quality young players in Denny Avdia and Rui Hachimura. But the one constant through the years in Washington, Bradley Beal. And he's not going anywhere for a long time.
Over the summer, the Washington Wizards made Bradley Beal a very wealthy man.
Obviously, I know what it means for my family and what hopefully my kids and their kids' kids will never have to worry about anything. But for me, it's like a new challenge.
The Wizards signing Beal to a 5-year, $251 million max contract, cementing him as the team's cornerstone through at least age 32.
I want to win. That's my biggest thing. I'm here because I believe I can win here. That's why I'm in D.C.
The Wizards also gave Beal a no-trade clause in the deal, a rarity in the NBA, becoming just the 10th player to receive one in league history.
Why was that important for the Wizards, and why was that important for Brad to have that no-trade clause?
Well, I certainly think when he's faced for 3 years, the questions, are you ever going to re-sign there? And if you re-sign, you're going to ask out. He put these things in place to make sure people understand his commitment to Washington and ownership. Everybody was on board with that.
With Beal as the central figure, the Wizards can now build a team around their all-star guard. They already have Kristaps Porzingis and Kyle Kuzma.
I'm here to make Brad's life easier, and Kuz. You know, I'd say we're all pretty excited about the possibilities that we all have three together to do things on the court.
Why does Bradley Beal think he can win here in Washington?
Why? Oh, man, why not? Right? I mean, it's just like any other team. Everybody doesn't know my plans and who I talk to, so it doesn't, where I wanted to go maybe couldn't have happened, maybe, you know, so I'm happy I'm here, I'm where I'm at.
The Wizards and Beal are now committed to each other for the long haul. If he plays out the entirety of his new contract in Washington, Beal will have spent 15 years with the franchise.
It was very tough, you know, but I really felt like in the heart of hearts I made the right decision.
Wizards fans are hoping all those dollar signs now lead to many more wins and just maybe a championship.
Yeah, Beal is building quite the resume with the Wizards. Adding a championship would certainly be the icing on the cake. Meanwhile, progress is impossible without change, and those who cannot change get left behind. DC United making a lot of changes over the past year, none bigger than bringing back Wayne Rooney, not as a player, but as their head coach.
A year transition for DC United, 3 different head coaches in 7 months. In July, they reeled in their so-called big fish, bringing back Wayne Rooney, not as a player, but as their head coach.
To really come here back to the MLS, back to DC United was a exciting challenge for me.
Wayne's name and what he does and what he stands for speaks for itself. High energy guy, a motivator, he's got a brilliant soccer mind, and he has a conviction to be a high-level coach.
As a player, Rooney has never backed away from a challenge. He's taking a similar path in his coaching career, starting out in England with Derby County before coming back to DC.
I'm at a point in my managerial career where I have to put the work in, I have to put the hours in. Of course, I'm an ambitious person. One day I want to manage at the top level. As a manager, I'm at the beginning of that journey.
When he played for the Black and Red, Rooney left early for family reasons. England is his home. That's where his children are being raised, leading some to question if Rooney is committed to DC United for the long term.
I think he's got the modern family issue of being apart from his kids, and that happens all over the world. So I'm hopeful that this is for the long haul. But certainly this season, next season, we want to develop the kind of culture that if Wayne ever leaves, that we have something to build upon.
Rooney took over halfway through the 2022 season. The results weren't great, just 2 wins in 14 matches. His players believe, though, a turnaround is on the horizon.
I think you're going to get a pop from the players. I think you're going to get a pop from the fan base and a pop from the organization. I think we need it, and I think Wayne's the guy to do it.
I'm ready. It's going to be tough. It's a challenge, of course. It is, but I'm here. I'm ready to get to work and try and get this club back to being successful.
DC United finished with the worst record in the league this season. For Rooney and the club, there's nowhere to go but up.
The new MLS season will be here before we know it. Training camp under Rooney. That should be interesting for those DC United players.
All right, thanks, Scott. There's more to come on our 2022 Sports in Review special. Maryland basketball looks like they are on their way back to being a national power under new head coach Kevin Willard. Plus, talk about goal-oriented.
We're just going to take day by day, game by game, and then we'll see.
I sit down with the grade 8 Alex Ovechkin to talk about his pursuit of history when 7 News 2022 Sports in Review continues. At 37 years old and in his 17th season with the Capitals, Alexander Ovechkin continues to hit milestones and break records. His ability to get Washington on the board hasn't slowed down, and his teammates are in awe of what they're witnessing. I mean, we all are. He inches closer and closer to passing Gordie Howe on the all-time score list and reaching the great Wayne Gretzky. We get to watch this in real time, and that's pretty special. Alexander Ovechkin has lit the lamp more than 793 times. He sits in third behind Detroit Red Wings legend Gordie Howe and the great one Wayne Gretzky on the NHL's most career goals list.
Most important thing to play well. try to collect the points, how I said, to make the playoffs and start from there.
Ovi's individual achievements have just piled up. The Grade 8 has won 3 Hart trophies, the Rocket Richard Trophy 9 times, an NHL record, and has been named to the NHL's first All-Star team 8 times.
And that was my first probably thought getting drafted here a long time ago was, man, I get to play with this guy.
Yes, Ovi will shy away from talking about his greatness, staying in the present and being a team player. But he continues to achieve these milestones and leaving everyone around him in awe.
It's kind of hard to describe. Not many people are in this position to watch someone like the big man over there break these records that, you know, I don't think anyone really thought they'd ever be broken.
And it comes as no surprise. This season, he's breaking records. So far, when he scored goal 787, he set the most goals with one franchise.
I'm just going to take day by day, game by game, and then we'll see. You can't look too much forward on that.
And with goal 793, he passed Wayne Gretzky for the most goals scored on the road.
Ovi, 403rd career road goal, passing Wayne Gretzky. Wow!
The Grade 8 isn't slowing down anytime soon, so Caps fans sit back and enjoy watching Alexander Ovechkin continue to make history in the District of Champions. Yeah, from the looks of it, the Grade 8 isn't slowing down. We're seeing that game after game. And like I said, to witness his greatness in D.C., pretty lucky. Scott?
For any sports team, going through a coaching change is never easy. Last year, the University of Maryland men's basketball team pretty much got a raw deal. Then head coach Mark Turgeon left the program in December. Everything was in shambles, and it showed on the court. That's where we bring in Kevin Willard, the new man in charge of leading the Terps basketball program back to national notoriety.
After their first losing season in nearly 30 years, the University of Maryland men's basketball team made a big change.
Please give a Terrapin warm welcome to Coach Kevin Willard.
Mark Turgeon out, Kevin Willard in.
Why Maryland? I think Maryland's a top 10 job in college basketball. I think it's in a great area. It's got a great fan base.
Willard got right to work, assembling a coaching staff and working the transfer portal, picking up valuable pieces in Jameer Young, Jahari Long, and Donald Carey.
He just shown that he's able to win at an elite level, and I wanted to do that, come in and be an impact on a winning team right away.
The new Terps head coach comes over from Seton Hall, where he guided the Pirates to the NCAA tournament 6 different times. Willard believes he can bring his brand of basketball to College Park and be just as successful.
What kind of style can our viewers, fans of Maryland basketball expect?
You know, we're really going to try to get up and down. You know, we're not the biggest team. We're not the most physical team, which is okay. We have great guard play. We have depth at the guard spot, and we really can shoot the basketball.
Instead of transferring, senior Dante Scott stayed at Maryland. He believes in Coach Willard, gravitating toward his honest approach.
What do you like about him?
That he's willing to tell you the real.
He doesn't sugarcoat.
No, he's not there to sugarcoat anything. He's going to sit there and tell you if you're doing terrible in a certain thing, then he's going to tell you you're doing terrible.
Do you like that?
Yes, I do.
There might be some growing pains in year 1, but for Willard, that's not an excuse. He expects to win now and win often.
Every year, you know, we're going to try to hang banners, plain and simple. Now, like I said, it's not always going to happen, but that better be your expectation when you come to this program.
There's a confidence and there's a swagger. The Kevin Willard era has arrived for Maryland basketball.
And I'll tell you this, it's been only a few months into the new season, and you can already tell the players are buying in. They play hard, they play defense. So far, so good for Kevin Willard in College Park.
All right, thanks, Scott. Plenty left on our look back at 2022. When we come back, the Nationals hit the reset button and say goodbye to one of baseball's best. Plus, the amazing comeback of Brian Robinson Jr., how the rookie running back survived being shot and is now thriving on the football field. Welcome back to our look back at the year in sports. The Washington Nationals, they continue to stay in the state of a rebuild, and that showed in 2022. Mike Rizzo making big moves, the fans having to say goodbye to the face of their franchise. Here's a look back at the 2022 Washington Nationals.
Here comes Jazz, and he gets in. 2 more in to score.
It was yet another rebuild year for the Washington Nationals.
That was anything but routine.
With yet another trade deadline from Mike Rizzo, we'll never forget. Juan Soto has been traded to the San Diego Padres.
We need to improve this team. We need to improve the franchise, and we need to get back to winning rings.
And in the 2022 season, in the process of reboosting this team, GM Mike Rizzo made the tough decision to say goodbye to Juan Soto, a generational talent the fans thought would stay in D.C. forever.
Juan Soto has left the yard.
But as we've heard over and over again, first and foremost, this game is a business.
I cried the whole morning that day. It was pretty tough to go through it, but at the end of the day, I really understand that it's business.
I have prepared him and given him the stepping stones of what he has to go through, and he's been, frankly, marvelous at understanding it.
As Washington said goodbye to their talent, so did the Padres. 6 players to be exact, the new future of the Washington Nationals.
We feel like with the players we got, the future's bright.
If you're losing 100-plus games out of 162, and yeah, they did that in 2022, the want to win is so strong.
This organization will be good again, and I'm proud of being part of this organization, proud of being a part of the city.
Big changes coming for the Nationals in 2023, ownership being at the forefront, the Lerners announcing they will sell, but to who?
You are interested in purchasing the Washington Nationals. Where are you in that process?
I'm not allowed to talk about the process.
On and off the field, the Nationals making the changes now to hang a banner once again.
There have been a lot of different roller coaster rides this season with the Washington Commanders. The ups, the downs, the twists and turns. It seems like there's always something going on away from the football field. Back in August, rookie running back Brian Robinson Jr. was simply in the wrong place at the wrong time. What happened next was a nightmare nobody saw coming.
It's been a rookie season unlike any other for Brian Robinson Jr. The Commanders running back had high hopes after getting selected in the 3rd round of the NFL Draft.
The Washington Commanders select Brian Robinson Jr., running back, Alabama.
Obviously, I want to reach for the stars. I want to be a 1,000-yard back. I want to go to the Pro Bowl. I want to be all pro. I want to win a Super Bowl. I want to do all those things. But, I just got to be where my feet at.
Then August 28th happened. Robinson was shot twice in the leg during an attempted robbery in Washington, D.C.
At some point during the course of this robbery attempt, our victim in this case began to struggle with one of the suspects, was able to actually wrestle a firearm away from one of the suspects, and he was shot twice by the second suspect.
After a night in the hospital, Robinson was quickly back at the team facility.
I think a lot of them are relieved.
I'm just glad that he's just healthy and alive.
Over the course of the next month, Robinson embraced the rehab process. It didn't take long for the coaches to realize that he was ready to get back on the field.
My passion for this game runs so deep, but just how my process of recovering been, just fighting and attacking, and every single day I came in here.
42 days after getting shot, Robinson made his NFL debut. When the Commanders hosted Tennessee.
It felt good, man. I really can't explain the feeling, just being back out on the field, man. So many ups and downs, man, but today, everything finally came to the light.
The following week, Robinson would score his first NFL touchdown. Come early November, D.C. police announcing they arrested and charged 2 juvenile suspects in his shooting.
Any closure at all for you?
It's definitely closure, only because the situation was so random. I had no idea who did it. It made me feel a lot better to know who did it.
Challenges, adversity, Brian Robinson Jr. overcoming it all in year 1 in Washington.
Robinson has been such an emotional boost inside that Commanders locker room. He's also a really good player that has a bright future with the Burgundy and Gold.
All right, stick with us when we come back. It was another glorious season of high school football in the DMV. We'll take a look back at some of the season's more memorable moments when our 2022 Sports Year in Review continues. The DMV is home to so many great athletes, and they got their chance to shine on the gridiron this fall as 7 News was on your sideline each and every week this fall. We covered our local state champions from Freedom Woodbridge in Virginia to Quince Orchard in Maryland, and the DC champs Coolidge Colts. Here's a look back at a great year of high school football.
You're watching Channel 7 News on your sideline.
It was another year where 7 News was on your sideline throughout the entire high school football season. It was a year full of memorable moments from Maryland to Virginia and DC. The coaches and players making our coverage the best it can be with incredible on-the-field performances. Yes, these student athletes made our show what it was every Friday night, but so did the band, the student sections, the cheerleaders, and of course,
you know what time it is.
We couldn't go a week without our very own Scott Abraham taking over as the mascot.
Let's go West Springfield.
Teams always having one thing on their mind at the beginning of the season, and that's finishing with the named champions.
We put in a lot of work during the offseason, so I think we were built for this.
We have a great group of guys this year.
We're ready. We've been preparing all week, and me and my brothers is about to come and show out.
In the end, 3 local teams standing alone at the top. In 2022, 7 News covered over 200 games in 16 weeks.
Back to back, it's a dream come true, honestly. We've been working for a long time. I'm glad we got the job done.
We now count down to fall of 2023 and do it all over again. What a ride it's been. Thank you for another great year of sports in and around the DMV. For Scott Abraham and the rest of the 7 News sports team, thank you for watching, and let's do it all over again in 2023.